Okay, we're going to take up period 4's retake right now. So let's walk through this. So f of 3, that means using the function f, you put the 3 in for the x into the equation. So f of 3 equals 2 bracket 3 minus 4, which would equal 6 minus 4, which equals 2. All right. The next one is h of 4, which means we're going to use the, where am I? Draw. We're going to use the equation h, and then the 4 is going in for the x within the equation. So that is, so that equals, so put the equals down here. So equals 3 to the power of 4. Where are we? To the power of 4 plus 3. So that equals 3 to the power of 4 is 81. 81 plus 3, which equals 84. Now this one here says g of f of 3. So that means we're going to do f of 3 first, and whatever we get from that, that's what we're going to use within the g. Now luckily we already did f of g up here. So I copy and paste this down to here. So now we know it's 2. So we're going to use the g formula, the function of g, this function, with our new number. So that's going to equal, so g of 2 is going to equal 4 times 2 squared minus 2 bracket 2 plus 5, which equals, well, 2 squared is 4, so that's going to equal 16. Oops. Should be minus. It's going to be minus 4 plus 5, which is going to equal 17. Am I right? Minus 4, yes. Now this one here, this time I don't give you the x, but I give you what it's equal to. So f of x equals negative 44. So it's going to be negative 44 equals 2x minus 4. Then we start rearranging. Negative 44 plus 4 equals 2x. So equals negative 40 equals 2x. And then we once again isolate. So it'll be negative 40 divided by 2 equals x. So negative 20 equals x. Now these ones here, I'm saying, what is y when x is this? So if I grab my, here, so I'm going to go, what is y when x is negative 4? So I'm going to go x negative 4, then I go up or down until I hit that number. That's a really fat one. But it's right here. Let's do that over again. Let's use my pen instead, blue. So right here, boom. So it's right here, so that means it is 1. Let's do this one green. So it's saying y is 4. So y is 4, I'm going to go down. That's right here, which is negative 3. Lastly, this time I'm saying y is equal to 5. What's the x number? So I'm going to go y up to 5, and then go over. There's my x right there, which is negative 5. So this one here, I have to determine if it's a function or non-function, and then list the domain and range. So for this one, if I just do vertical Well, if I know that every function, for every input there's one output, I can go to x's here and just make sure there's one dot on each x, which there is. So that there is a function. Now since it's discrete meaning one only dots, I can just list the points. So in this case, if I'm listing the domain, that's the x values, it's going to be -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. So -2, 1, 0, 1, 2. Then for the range, I have to list the points again. So for the range, I'm going to list 0, 1, and 2. Oh, sorry, and 4. 4. There we go. 0, 1, 4. And we're good to go. I don't have to list 1 and 4 again because they're shared. Now this one, function or non-function? Well, since my vertical line test holds, so no matter where I go here, I only hit the line once, that means it is a function. And I just realized I misspelled function on this test multiple times. Then the domain. So I'm thinking domain, I'm thinking this way, right? But these have arrows go out here. So realistically, my domain is any real number, since it never stops. Domain equals the set of any real numbers. I'll use this E because this works. There we go. Then I have to look at the range. I go, okay, range equals the set of Y. I go, okay, what do I know about it? I know it starts at 0, but what symbol am I going to put in between there? Oops. XER, because I know it's a number, it's a line. So if I take a look at 0, in terms of range, it's only going to get bigger. So if I'm doing that, I'll put that line there, it's going to be greater than or equal to 0. And that's the symbol I want to put between there. Now I have to draw these functions. So let's grab a red pen here. So I need to make sure it's a non-function. So if I look at the x values here, it's x greater than -2. So let's go -2 here. I'm doing domain, so I'm going this way. And 2, so I'm going to go here. Then my y is greater than 0 and less than 6. So I'm here. So I could draw a little box to kind of indicate where I am. So I could put like a box like so in. That's kind of like the restrictions of where I am. And realistically, I can draw anything I want as long as it fills this box. Oops. Let's use red. As long as it fills this box and fails the vertical line test. There we go. So I make sure I start. It goes from the low to the high and from the width-wise as well. And also my vertical line test shows it's a non-function. Right. Next one here. I have a domain of any real number. So we can go on forever this way. So I have no restriction. This one here says y is less than -3. So 1, 2, 3. So that's as high as I can go. And I can draw anything as long as it goes forever this way. So I can't draw a straight line. I could draw something like this. I could draw something like this. Right? Anything as long as I have only goes up to here, plus it goes on forever sideways. So there's many you could draw there. But that's the main thing, right? So now, state the zeros of this problem. All right, so the first thing I do here is I balance these so these are both going to equal 0. So in this case, I make them both equal to 0. So I go x plus 8 equals 0. Oops, then I rearrange. And I get x equal to -8. Well, over here, I have x minus 6 equals 0. So I rearrange, I get x equal to 6. What I mean by rearrange is I'm just moving this number to the other side so I can isolate for the x value. So now I like to mark these right away. So let's put my 6 down. So 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. And 1, I know that's 10, 9, 8. So now it says axis symmetry. Well, we know the axis symmetry is where we add the 2 points, so -8 plus 6, and we divide it by 2. And that's going to give us -1 as my axis symmetry. Now we know that axis symmetry is the x-coordinate of my vertex. So I can take that -1 and plug it back into the original equation. Oops. So, that's bracket x plus 8, x minus 6. And then I'm going to plug in my number of -1. So it's -1 plus 8, -1 minus 6. And that's going to equal y equals 7 and -7. And that's going to equal -49. So now these all never have to equal 1. I can make them equal whatever I want. So in this case, I'm going to make it equal 7. So I'm going to go over -1, then down 7. 1, 2, 3, 7. Boom. And then I can draw my parabola. And go from there. Now at perfect communication mark, I might want to include my vertices in here of -1, comma 49. I could also, if I want to, mark these as, how's that? -8, comma 0, and 6, comma 0. And there's a fully communicated mark. Alright, so next one. Once again, we have a with the zeroless out. So we split this off this way, split this off this way, and we go from there. So this one here, we have 3x minus 18 equals 0. So I do some rearranging. So I'm going to leave the 3x over here, move the 18 over to it becomes positive. Then we're going to divide by our coefficient. X equals 6. But this one here is a lot easier because we're just going to be flipping the number. Because when it crosses over, it's going to become negative. So there's my numbers. So let's mark it. So what I say, -4. -4 and positive 6. Okay. Then let's take a peek here. Add them up and divide them by 2 for our line symmetry. I'm going to go plus -4 divided by 2. That's probably not going to give me. Oh, it did. So that equals 1. So I know my line symmetry is at 1. So that's my x-coordinate of my vertex. I'm going to plug it back into here. That's going to be y equals -0.1 bracket 3 bracket 1 bracket minus 18 bracket bracket 1 plus 5. Boom. That's not a 1. There we go. So let's do my math. -0.1 bracket 3 times 1 is 3 minus this is 15. Bracket. That's going to be 6. And what does that equal? It's 7.5 in all honesty. Oh my god, different number. Well, that's not. Let me plug it all in. Oops, clear, -0.1 bracket equals 9. So we know our coordinate of our vertex is 1, 9. So then we go 1 here, up 9, and there is our parabola. Oh, I know what I did wrong. That should be a 4, which make that 5. And that, I believe, now is 7.5. Let's fix that. Let's see, 0.1 times 15 times 5. 7.5, yeah. I knew I had something wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. Then I can draw my graph. And away we go. I'll fix this up real quick. All right. Now we have our formula of Danielle shooting Adam through a cannon. So all we have to do this formula is we plug in our table values. Now, I apologize, I didn't give you nice numbers here. I had it worked out, but something happened with my working out and putting it in that the numbers got huge and scary. But just trust your numbers because it will come out in the wash. And the main thing was we were looking for our first and second differences here. So this one here at start would be like so. Plus 1, 0, minus 61. And that would equal, I think it's 6.1 off the top of my head. 61. There we go. That equals 61. Now I'm just going to look at my calculator instead of doing all the numbers out and try to find all my important numbers. What do I give you next? 25? Hmm. 936. 936 and 50. There's 50. 561. And then 75. I need one more number. 75 is negative 1064. Negative 1064. Now we can do our first differences, which is 936 minus 61, equals 875. This one here is going to be 561 minus 936. And I'm going to do the second one as well, since I'm already here. 4 minus. Alright, so this was negative 375. The one that followed is negative 1715. Let's do second differences now. Second difference would be negative 375 minus 875, which equals 1250. This is going to be negative 1715 minus negative 375, which equals, oh, something went wrong there. Oh, I missed it by 100 right here. I mixed up those two numbers. 561. So it's negative 1625. Which then would change this to negative 1625, which then would change this to negative 1250. So you can see, even though we're all messed up with numbers, and they seem kind of weird, the second difference is the same. Those should both be negatives. There we go. So how do we know? Well, second differences, plus we know that, yeah, I didn't mark you for this because I gave you the equation a different way. If we follow this out, we would have t squared, which means quadratic. Anything with a square on it as the highest degree. All right, let's sketch the graph. So, of course, sketching it may seem a little weird, but all we need is a couple points. So we go like so, and we just draw a general up and down, right? Now, hypothetically, a nice labeled one, we would kind of say, like, here is, oops, wrong way. Here is 0/61, right? I'm looking for something that starts up the line a little bit. I scratched this one since it didn't come out, so you weren't ever marked on this question. You got a freebie mark, but this one here, how high was the cannon when it shot off? Well, at 0 time, it was 61 height, so therefore that answer is going to be 61, because right when he shot, he's already at 61 height, so that's how high the cannon is. Right. This one here is, I want to know how wide it is. And if you think about width, if I just drew a graph like this, you would consider the width the zeros, right? So I'm just asking a different way to ask for zeros. So how do we get zeros? Well, we need this to equal 0, or we need this side to equal 0. So this one's quite easy because we have the d minus 4 equals 0. Then we just move this over. So we get d equals the 4. This one here, we have negative d. And we want that to equal 0. So what's the only number we can go through here? Is d equals 0, right? Mathematically, we could divide by -1, divide by -1, but 0 divided by -1 is still 0. So our zeros are 0 and 4. So that means like that's 0, and that'd be 4. How far from the start of the arch is the middle of the arch? Well, this is all I'm asking for is your axis symmetry. I can never spell symmetry, right? So if we remember, that's where you add them up. So 0 plus 4 divided by 2 equals 2. And how high is the arch? What we're looking at is my vertex, the y component. So we're just going to plug that original equation back in, and so we're going to go h of 2 equals -2 bracket, what's the equation? 4. 2 minus 4. In this case, it equals -2 times -2, which equals -4. Oh, 4 I mean. Can't have a negative height in terms of arches. And away you go. I don't think I have any drawing of a person here. No, I can't include a drawing here. So that's my review of the quiz. Okay, have a good day.